And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk. An exciting show on tap this evening. All sorts of news and celebrations to get to. Big focus tonight will be on BC women's soccer. USA South regular season champions. That championship has been clinched. And we'll talk to women's soccer in just a few moments, but do want to take you around the horn here at BC. Football comes off a big 25-21 win over Huntingdon over the weekend in Montgomery, Alabama. A couple of USA South Player of the Week honors. James Woods wins USA South Defensive Player of the Week. Chase Pfeiffer named USA South Defensive Rookie of the Week. Volleyball, they'll be taking on Greensboro on Tuesday. Meanwhile, a 3-0 win over Pfeiffer this past week. And looking forward to volleyball keeping their winning ways going with a game versus Greensboro tomorrow at the Bosch. Cross country will be at the USA South Conference Championships this Saturday in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. And then cycling is a couple weeks away from their mountain bike collegiate national championships, November 14th through 17th in Bentonville, Arkansas. We'll be talking some cross country and cycling in next week's show. Men's soccer, Brevard 5, Mary Baldwin 0 on the road. And Ryan Lynch wins USA South Player of the Week. As a result of that result, men's soccer will be at home versus Pfeiffer on Wednesday. And meanwhile, men's soccer has clinched a bye in the USA South Conference men's soccer tournament. That runs from November 2nd through 9th. We'll talk men's soccer later in the show. Women's soccer, a 3-1 win over William Peace, followed by a 2-0 win over Southern Virginia in an absolute thrilling atmosphere at Isla Mel Family Field. Southern Virginia, the defending USA South Conference champions. BC defeats Southern Virginia, clinches the regular season championship, continues their unbeaten streak this season. Abby Nunez won USA South Defensive Player of the Week. That was earlier this afternoon. It's her third time this season winning the award. And Kinley Mosley wins USA South Rookie of the Week. The women's soccer team will be at Pfeiffer on Wednesday at 6 p.m. before getting started in the USA South Conference tournament. So one more regular season match, and then the Tornadoes will begin tournament play on Saturday. And with that, we're going to invite in the Brevard College women's soccer coaching staff. Looking forward to this conversation as we see head coach Juan Mascaro joining us, associate head coach Juan Mascaro Jr., and assistant coaches with us as well, Sallie, Riggan, and Kayla Landman. All right, coaching staff. Well, we'll start with the head coach, Juan Mascaro. First, congratulations on the regular season championship. Just happened in glorious style on Saturday. So before we get started, Coach, your thoughts coming off that win on Saturday and the first regular season championship in Brevard College history in the USA South.
Yeah, Phil. Thanks for having us tonight. Very excited. I think the team truly earned it. We've been doing things the right way for a while, and I think it was the culmination of just a great season. And you guys always surprise me with stats. But I was reading that I think we haven't won a regular season in like 19 years or something like that.
Yeah, across the entire college.
Yeah. Interesting. But very excited, obviously, very happy for the players. I'm very happy for the coaching staff.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, just to clarify, the Tornadoes, in men's soccer in particular in recent years have won the USA South Conference Championship via the tournament, but this was a regular season championship. Correct. So great stuff for the women's soccer team. Well, Coach, I'm going to do what we usually do when we bring on the players, because we've got three faces here that I know were very, very important to the success this season and the ongoing success heading into the tournament. Associate head coach Juan Mascaro Jr. and also assistant coaches Kayla Landman and Sallie Riggan. So I'm going to hand it back to you, Coach Mascaro, to help introduce these three to NATO Nation, but also just describe how vital they are to the success of the program.
Oh yeah, I mean we're a team. We're a coaching team. Everybody brings so much to the table. JJ does 90% of the work. The rest of us just watch him and have fun. He's really onto the recruiting piece, which recruiting is essential for us, right? So recruiting is always hard work, but he's on top of recruiting, and he runs most of the sessions. Sallie is what brings the jail together. Sallie brings everything together, and Kayla takes care of the goalkeepers. So great team.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, looking forward to catching up with each of them as well. We'll start with Associate Head Coach Juan Mascaro Jr. Certainly, veteran here on Tornado Talk. We've had you a bunch of times, but can you put in perspective what went down on Saturday, Coach Jr.? Just with the quality of that win against a quality opponent, and obviously the magnitude of winning the championship.
Yeah, for sure. I think for one, it was special to clinch the title at home. And be able to at home with still a game in hand. So I think that was huge for us. And we went into the game knowing what the consequences were if we won and what the consequences were if we didn't win. I think we had that in the back of our head. And I think that kept us focused, a couple sessions prior to that game. Phil, it really just came down to the players just continuing to buy in what we've talked about all year and putting their head down and working hard for it and wanting it more than the opponent and finding a way to score 2 goals, right? Because it was a very back and forth match. We obviously had more chances that they did, but, as soccer, sometimes the team that produces more opportunities doesn't necessarily score. So we were able to finish 2 of our chances and they weren't able to finish, a couple of the chances that they had. And then, again, we put our heads down and grinded out the result and got a huge win, a huge monumental win for the program and for the school. So it's, any achievement that we can that we can produce is always a dream come true, so it was an amazing afternoon, an amazing game, and just very happy to be part of it.
Absolutely. Also with us, assistant coach Sallie Riggan. Now, Sallie, not only a member of the coaching staff now, but is a Brevard College women's soccer alum. And so you've been on the coaching staff for the last few seasons, but you've seen it firsthand as a student athlete. And I'm sure if, I were to talk to, Coach Mascaro, he would tell you that this has been building up over the years, and players like yourself, when you were a player, were part of this foundation of this success this season. But what did it mean for you as an assistant coach, but also as an alum, Sallie, to see that win on Saturday and for the Tornadoes to clinch that championship?
Oh, I had chills on the sideline, Phil. The only thing I have to complain about is that I wish I was on the field with them again. But it felt just as good on the sideline, and I'm so proud of them. They've worked so hard this season, and they definitely earned it.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, really appreciate all your contributions as well. And then Kayla Landman with us as well. And Coach mentioned Kayla handles the goalkeepers. And, Coach Landman, it's your first season on the Brevard College staff. What a year to come in, and congratulations to you as well. Can you describe, that atmosphere on Saturday, just how, focused the team was, but then, of course, getting the W as well, how that felt?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Phil. No, the atmosphere altogether, not just that game, just the team and the coaching staff together on the sideline is very family-like. You can feel it. It's different from any other team that I've been a part of altogether, the girls and the coaching staff. But it's an awesome feeling on the sideline, and it was electric on Saturday.
Yeah, a great word for it. And we'll stick with you, Coach Landman. Abby Nunez earlier today won USA South Defensive Player of the Week for the 3rd time this season. And not only getting it done, as far as that defensive end in that goalkeeper position, but she scores one of those 2 goals on a free kick on Saturday as well. Can you tell us a little bit about Abby, from your perspective as a coach who works with her so closely?
Abby's nickname is Princess. I call her Princess every day. She is awesome, though, to work with. So much fun, all the goalkeepers together. But Abby is a hard worker, and she really wants every win that we get.
Yeah, no doubt. And Sallie Riggan, one more for you as well. What are you noticing as far as the team heading into what's going to ultimately be this tournament atmosphere? One more game tomorrow, but then the tournament starts. How would you describe the team's focus heading into the tournament?
Honestly, Phil, I think it's still sinking in for all of us, and we're just taking it day by day and not trying to jinx anything.
Very good. Well, we'll try to do our part. Our job as promoters is to bump you guys up as much as possible. We'll try not to get in the way either at the same time. Coach Junior, this is obviously a critical week. A trip to Pfeiffer coming up, but then the start of the USA South Conference tournament. Home field advantage throughout, as long as the Tornadoes keep winning, of course. Can you describe, this week ahead for the Tornadoes?
Yeah, for sure. I think before our session this afternoon, we met and we kind of reflected on the experience and we, set some goals out for ourselves just to stay focused. So we have some things that we would like to achieve, even though we had the big culminating or one of the big culminating events on Saturday, right? So definitely the game against Pfeiffer is going to set the tone for the tournament. So we're focused and we want to win it and keep our unbeaten run going. And we really want to get after it. That way, we, like I said, we set the tone for the tournament on Saturday and we can achieve some of these goals that we've set up for ourselves so that we can, stay focused and kind of, keep our heads away from the clouds. We want to make sure that we're grounded and that we stick to our principles and our values that got us here in the first place. So definitely a big game. We definitely want to win and we want to be as competitive as possible.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Head coach Juan Mascaro with us, of course. And Coach Mascaro, I love zooming out with you and looking at it from, kind of the bigger picture perspective and the historical perspective. You mentioned, how long it had been since Brevard College had won a regular season championship in any sport. But, for the women's soccer program and what you and your staff has been building year in and year out, can you describe, just all the building blocks that went into this and obviously, what it means to have this sort of season that 2024 is turning out to be?
Phil, it's really hard to describe, but it is, and I keep saying the same thing over and over, and I keep telling the team this over and over. But at the end of the day, it's all about hard work. You have to put your head down and work hard. You got to have a plan, and you have to know that it doesn't happen overnight. Success normally doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to build. I mean, I've been coaching the women for 9 years, and it's taken us this long to build something. We went through the transition, then we put a good product together to have to be mid-table, and now this past couple of years we're up at the top 3. And this year it's been we have been blessed, and I say all the time that winning a championship, it's all the stars have to align, because you gotta stay injury free, there's so many factors that go into it. One bad game, because we've had bad games, we haven't played every game the best. But we found ways to win, even not playing at our best. So I think the stars, aligned for us, and it gave us the ability to win a regular season championship. And now a tournament is a tournament. It's 3 games. Anything can happen. We talked about it, before practice today that, in 2016, Brevard men's soccer, knocked out of the tournament, the number 1 seed Wingate, that ended up winning the national championship. And their only loss of the year was to Brevard as the 8th seed. So you have to stay focused. You have to understand, what's at stake, and you got to keep working hard. And you gotta go back to, coaches say a lot, back to basics, but it's really back to what brought you there, because you can't say, okay, now I made it, and now it's just going to happen, and it doesn't work that way, right? You have to keep doing the things that got you there, and that is what we're trying to make sure that they understand that.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations, coaching staff. We can't wait to continue this run. The trip to Pfeiffer on Wednesday, but then we'll start hosting USA South Conference tournament matches beginning this Saturday at Islamel Family Field. Can't wait for that. Stick around with us just a couple moments longer. We're going to invite in our student athletes. We're going to get this studio kind of jammed packed here, and a lot of celebrating going on as Hayley Kenney has joined the program. Also, Sophia DePasquale, Rachael Trifoli, Kennedy Kelly's here. Also, a loaded potato of a women's soccer show here. Coach Mascaro, we'll leave the final word to you as the head coach of the program. If you could briefly help introduce these four outstanding student athletes to NATO Nation.
Yeah, like I said before, Phil, amazing people. First of all, they're great soccer players, but most of all, they're amazing people. You have two seniors, Rachael and Hayley. Then you have Sophia, a freshman, and Kennedy, a sophomore. And they are vital to the team. I mean, everybody contributes, and everybody's vital to the team. From Rachael being a senior and starting, Sophia being a freshman and starting, it is, everybody contributes for sure.
Outstanding. Coach Mascaro Jr., Coach Riggan, Coach Landman, congrats again on the regular season championship. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you at Isla Family Field this weekend. Have a great week.
Thank you for having us, Phil.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you.
Thanks, Phil.
All right, there they go. And so we're going to shift quickly to these women's soccer student athletes who've been so kind to join us this evening. In that upper right location, Hayley Kenney. How are you, Hayley?
I'm good. How are you, Phil?
Doing great. Thanks for joining the show. Also with us in that bottom left location is Rachael Trifoli. How are you, Rachael?
Doing good.
Outstanding. And we've got Sophia DePasquale and Kennedy Kelly joining us in that bottom right location. Sophia and Kennedy, how are you?
Good.
Outstanding. Well, Hayley, let's start with you, the senior midfielder from New Hampshire. Can you put into words and describe what went down on Saturday at Isla Family Field? Not only senior day for yourself, but also a regular season championship clinched. Can you describe that day and what it felt for you and the team?
It was a perfect senior day, personally, especially years against SVU, and to finally beat them at home on senior day was a great win for us. But honestly, I'd say the game was really everyone just putting their heads down and grinding it out. It was really just constantly working hard the whole game.
Yeah, no doubt. Outstanding day all the way around. The senior class of Emma Barnes, Hayley Bryan, Hayley Kenney, Rachael Trifoli, two of which we have here. Rachael, we'll go with you next. Tell us a little bit from your perspective what that was like. Senior day ceremony, and then we get busy with the game, and Tornadoes come up with a 2-0 win. How did it feel?
It was amazing, the feeling. It was great having the senior night and us ending with that win on a senior night, something that we haven't beaten them in a while, and just us realizing with winning that game what that means for us being the championship of the regular season. It was just an amazing feeling.
With us as well, freshman defender from Annandale, Virginia, Sophia DePasquale. Sophia, same question for you. Can you describe, one of your coaches used the word electric, as far as that environment on Saturday, but can you describe what the environment was like and what it was like to be such a key part of that win?
It was definitely very nerve-wracking, and it was really exciting to eventually win that game, and everyone worked really hard, and the energy was just really high, which really helped motivate me to play really hard, which was good.
Kennedy, as those final seconds were counting down, and the reality of the clinching the championship set in, can you describe what it felt like for you and what that moment was like?
Yeah, so the last 25 minutes of the game, it just started pouring rain, and it was I just kept looking back at the clock, when is this game gonna end? When is this game gonna end? Because we were already up 2-0, and we had worked so hard that whole game, and then it just started pouring. And it was hard to see the ball. They started getting puddles on the field. We could barely run. Everyone was slipping. But, I mean, those last 5 minutes were crucial for both teams. You could tell SVU was really trying to get one in, and we were really trying to stop them from doing that. But it was definitely the most intense game that we've had this season, and it felt nice to finally beat them and on our home field and take away that title of them being the defending conference champs.
Let's stick with Kennedy and Sophia for this next question. You two, such a key part of the defense for the Tornadoes, and incredible year defensively, for all of you. Congratulations. Can't wait to see you guys continue to shut out opponents. Only 5 goals allowed across the entire season. Just an amazing number. You guys get it done as a unit back there. Obviously it's more than just the two of you, but you guys are a huge part of it. Can you tell us, Kennedy, what the mindset is for you all defensively and what's led to all that success on the defensive end?
Yeah, so actually we always joke, and it's pretty funny that we always joke that our back line is probably the most unintimidating back line in terms of physical looks in the conference, probably, including Rachael. And we always joke about that, but honestly, when it comes time to work, we work. And off the field too, we're all like close and great friends, like as a family. We definitely make it our goal every single game to not let teams score on us. That includes whoever's behind us in goal too. I just think we're all great at communicating while we're on the field. So we all play for each other. You can tell that there's heart out there when we all go out there to play. And it's not just one player or another. And yeah, I just feel like, especially as a back line, we're all really close and connected. And it feels good going throughout the season, only letting teams score 5 goals on us, because it means you're doing something right as a back line.
Absolutely. Sophia, could you add to that as far as, what it takes for you all to have this kind of success defensively?
Yeah, so our back line is really good at working together and communicating, and also just lifting each other up when we make a mistake. So if one of us is having a bad game, we're really good as a back line and as a team as well, like motivating each other to keep going and like not let that bring you down in the game. But yeah, as a whole, our back line is just really good at working together. I think that's what keeps us.
Rachael, tell us even more about the defensive mindset of the Tornadoes.
I think one of the biggest pieces of our mindset is hard work, and Coach kind of talked about that earlier. That's something as a whole team that our mindset is we work hard no matter what team we're facing, whether it's someone lower in the conference or it's SVU, where we work hard, and that's really what's brought us all together and gotten us this far so in the season.
Yeah, no doubt. And, Hayley, you're a midfielder by trade. You're on both ends, on that defensive end, on the offensive end, covering a lot of ground. Can you talk about defense in particular and how that is such a priority for really all 10 field players who are out there at any given point, right?
Defense is what comes first. Defense is what wins games, and that's why we've done so well, is because of our defense, especially from our defensive line. That's our main priority, is to defend, and you have to build up from the defense of winning the ball back to be able to go attack. So we call it super pressure, of immediately just like on the ball, on the person, and we've all bought into that mentality, which has allowed us to be where we are today.
Awesome stuff. Well, let's talk a little bit about team culture, because obviously any successful team, you've got to get along well. You've got to have great chemistry, throughout the roster, all these things. You guys go on these road trips, together, and then you come away with the win, and you come back and all this. But Hayley, we'll start with you. Can you describe what it's like to be a member of the Brevard College women's soccer program, and what you guys are like as a team in terms of your personalities and so forth?
I would say it's wonderful and chaotic. We have so many different girls that so many different friendships get to be built on this team, and we are lucky to have those experiences of like bus trips where we're all like running off the bus to go to the gas station to go get a few treats or whatever. But we just kind of appreciate everyone that's on the team, and we just try to build it from there.
Rachael?
It really is like a family atmosphere. We are all so really close. We love joking with each other. We've got a lot of humor on our team, and going on all these away trips really helps bring that bond stronger.
Sophia, and then Kennedy, love to hear your perspective, as, underclassmen, compared to these two seniors, what it's like to be a member of this Brevard College women's soccer team. Sophia?
Yeah, so coming in, everyone was just so welcoming and encouraging. I was a little intimidated at first to meet a bunch of new girls, but they are just so nice, and everyone is so good at joking around, and they're all just really sweet. So.
Kennedy?
Yeah, I would definitely say that we have a broad atmosphere of personalities that goes on the team, but it's nice because everyone has their own little thing to them that makes them special and makes them a part of the team. And I mean, even last year for me, when I was not playing, it was just so welcoming and family like the second I came in. And yeah, I mean, I love everyone on the team. And also shout out to the coaches for making it like the away trips like that so special and letting us all bond. And even they like just even including the coaches, we just all feel like such a family. And it makes it easy, especially when you're far away from home, and it makes you not think about so much about how you miss home because you have another family here.
Just a couple more before we let you all go and continue your preparation for what's ahead this week. Sophia and Kennedy, tell us what you're up to academically. Have you selected majors, Sophia?
I'm probably going to select a business major. Yeah.
Very good. Kennedy?
I'm currently majoring in health science.
Outstanding. And Rachael, heading towards graduation and collecting that diploma. Can you tell us a little bit about what the degree will be in and your plans beyond graduation?
Yeah, so my degree is a major in exercise science and then a minor in business. And then I will graduate in December, and then I start right away with physical therapy school.
Outstanding. Congrats on that. And Hayley, same question for you. Let us know what you'll be graduating with in terms of degree and what your future plans might be.
So I'm graduating with a degree in criminal justice and a minor in biology and environmental studies. And I plan to go home, and I just kind of want to be outdoors, but I kind of view it as life's going to take me where it's going to take me and just kind of keep moving forward.
Awesome stuff. Well, can't wait to see this team continue to move forward this week as you'll finish up the regular season on Wednesday, and then we'll start USA South Conference tournament play this weekend. Congrats to all of you and the entire team, the entire program on the regular season championship. Can't wait to see what's next. And before we let you go, a tradition here at Tornado Talk, we're going to give you each the opportunity to give a shout out or a thank you. We'll start with Sophia on the bottom right location. Do you have any shout outs or thank yous for us?
My mom, my dad, my sister, my whole family, the team, my roommate, my suite mates. Yeah.
Very good. Kennedy, same opportunity for you. Shout outs?
My parents, my whole family, actually. My boyfriend, who's also on the men's soccer team, shout out to them for also finishing second in the conference. My teammates, and shout out my roommate for scoring this weekend versus SVU. And shout out Emma Barnes because I told you.
Very good. And Rachael Trifoli, you have any shout outs for us?
Kind of the same ones. My parents and
on.
family, the girls on this
Sorry about
team that have just made this worth the whole thing, and our coaches too for supporting us through everything.
Fantastic. And glad we got you back just in time, Hayley, Kenney. You have any shout outs for us? Hayley, are you with us? Do you have any shout outs for us?
I can't hear a thing if someone's speaking to me. Hang on.
Well, we will rest assured that Hayley had some unbelievable shout outs for us. So, maybe you guys can communicate for us those on the chat. Congrats again. Thanks for joining us on the program. Can't wait to see you this weekend at Lamel Family Field. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to switch gears quickly here and go to the men's soccer side. A lot of developments there as well. Joined by Coach Danna. Coach, how are you this evening?
Hey, Phil, how are you? Doing great.
Doing great, Coach. I mean, what a time of year. Coach, I'm reflecting back to the championships the men's team has won, and how gracious the other sports teams have been on campus to help us celebrate these things. Well, the women's soccer team just won a regular season championship. Before we dive deep into men's soccer, any thoughts on that? Obviously, men's and women's soccer, you guys are around each other all the time. You share the field together, all these things. I'd love to just give you the floor to talk about women's soccer before we move into the men's side.
No, yeah. First thing I wanted to do, I texted them, congratulated the coaches, and not only did they win, but they cleaned the table, So we're pretty excited for them. Our guys follow them time and over again in the bus trips. They were following the game, and it's almost like a big old family. There's some that date each other, how it goes, but they surely support each other. We've felt their appreciation when we won, and we do appreciate them now for winning their share.
Yeah, no doubt. Well said. And meanwhile, we're looking forward to some real exciting stuff happening here at Lamel Family Field in both men's and women's soccer, as the stars have aligned and the two teams have done the necessary work for us to be hosting games here at Lamel Family Field. The men's team clinches a bye because of the kind of a little bit of a shakeup with the standings, and things already have been settled where the men's team, your team, Coach L, has a bye and it advances all the way to the semifinals, which will be next Wednesday at Lamel Family Field. Coach, I know that was a goal of yours and the team this season. Can you tell us just how important that is?
Yeah, especially having gone through the past 2 years, just these back-to-back games that happen to be overtime and some of them PK shootouts. So the number one goal we had this year was get a bye, host and get a bye. Of course, you wanted to win the whole thing and be number one, but you got to take one step at a time. This is the highest finish we've ever had in the regular season, and I do not take it for granted because our conference really is that difficult, and the top 5 teams in the conference can beat, and actually anybody can beat anybody on any given day. So now we're very honored and very excited and very happy that we accomplished one of the main goals.
Yeah, no doubt. Congrats on that. And so again, folks, semifinals for the men's tournament will be on Wednesday, November 6th. On the campus of Brevard College. So stay tuned for all the details there as far as, who the opponent will be and, the exact start time. We'll wait and see, on the women's side as well, how that all lines up. But that's something you can count on. Wednesday, November the 6th, semifinals, as the Tornadoes. We'll wait and see who that opponent is after Saturday's matches. Well, meanwhile, one more regular season home match, Coach, on Wednesday of this week, 6 p.m. versus Pfeiffer. And, hey, we don't want to overlook this match at the same time. This is a match where, certainly, both teams are looking to keep momentum going and that kind of thing, but also a chance for the fans to see the Tornadoes one more time this week, 6 o'clock under the lights at Lamel Family Field.
Yeah, I mean, even though the position for us will not change, there's a lot to be played for because you got momentum, you do have 7 days to sit on whatever result we get. So you want to finish strong. The team that we're playing, Pfeiffer, it's baffling to me that they're outside looking in. I mean, they're very good, very good. And early in the year, I thought that they were going to be contending to do bigger things, but it's an unforgiving game. I mean, they let a couple of late goals and results slip away from them, and I see a scenario in which they still can qualify, but either way, they want to finish high. They or with a high, and they won. Of course, last year we knocked them out in the tournament, so there's always something to play for them as well. And anytime anybody comes to town, we got the target on our chest, and we learn to accept that and embrace that, and know that if we don't bring our A game, we're going to lose. That's how it is.
Yeah, Brevard and Pfeiffer across all of our sports here at Brevard College, seems to always be a good rivalry and a good matchup. The two schools have a lot in common. We both entered, the USA South and in NCAA Division III at the same time. So it'll be a lot of fun to see Pfeiffer here on Wednesday. Coach, also earlier today, some news as Ryan Lynch won yet another men's soccer Player of the Week award. Congratulations to Ryan. Outstanding career, keeps on going. He continues to, gained some distance now in the record books. He holds so many of the records, and it's the 8th time in his career he's won this particular award, 4th time this season, which is a remarkable number as well. Coach, we've talked about him before, but as we head towards really the pinnacle now of his career with the Tornadoes, in his 5th year as a 5th-year senior, can you tell NATO Nation just how remarkable and amazing this career's been for the Tornadoes?
Yeah, I mean, forgettable even throughout the past 4 years, but this year, how hard is it to come from the year before that you were conference player of the year and be sitting on leading the conference in goals, in assists, and in shots, and being ranked in different categories in the nation. So knowing that everybody now knows him, knowing that everybody keys on him, and so he keeps finding a way, and there's not enough words to say what he meant to the program, what he meant to the season, and we're working to also give something back to him because it'd be wonderful for him to now get one more ring and who knows, make a now region all-American. So one day at a time, but the guy's hungry. The guy, he's the first one in, last one out. He takes care of his body. He invests himself in being the fittest and eats well, and not enough words to say he deserves all the success because he puts in the effort for that.
Last one for you, Coach, before we invite in a couple of student athletes. Back-to-back USA South Conference champions, looking to do it again this year. You've earned that bye that we talked about. We'll see in the semifinals of the USA South Conference tournament. But can you tell us just a little, now that the regular season is almost complete, about this team in particular and how they might be a little different as far as their makeup and personality and that kind of thing than the teams we saw these last couple of years?
Yeah, I think every team, every year, I don't like to compare one with the other because everybody's special. Everybody brings something unique. But the one thing that stands out to me this year is how deep we are, I mean, I don't remember many times in my career having had either injuries or cards or people getting sick or whatever the case might be, that you finish a game and you look back and you don't even remember that those guys were not there. This past game we have 4 outs, and anybody stepping in just feels the need. A warrior down is a warrior up, and they have that mentality that they're not going to lower the level, and it almost picks up anytime you, like this past game, we substituted everybody in, everybody out, and the level raised, so that's the unique thing that I felt this year is how deep we are, how everybody's willing to put in whatever they got and make the most out of it. So we got guys this past game that scored with 5 minutes of playing time. This is pretty amazing.
Yeah, great stuff, Coach. And that depth extends all the way to the reserves program. That's such a big part of the overall success as well. Well, Coach, stick with us just a moment or two longer. We're going to invite in a couple of your student athletes who are waiting patiently backstage. We'll invite in Luiz Pontes and Justin Labhart into the program. Great to have these two making their Tornado Talk debut. Coach L, tell our audience a little bit about Luiz and Justin, what they're all about.
Yeah, we got one incoming freshman and one outgoing graduate student. Justin is a forward from Switzerland. Actually paid a little bit of his dues early in the season with the reserves, and we felt that it was time to promote him even during the season. Got to start this past game, funny as it sounds, because the guy to his left had to sit out for cards. And grabbed the chance and scored a goal. And so there's to the point I was talking about. Luiz is a graduate student. He's finishing now his collegiate career. Also a forward. He's from Brazil and a leader in the team. I like when these guys that are a little older, both of them actually are not your true age for college, I'll be honest. But guys that are bring this leadership and poise and attitude of being there, done that, and just contribute with different things that they do on the team. But two excellent players.
Outstanding. Well, looking forward to getting to know them even better. Coach L, thanks for joining the show. Congrats on earning the bye in the USA South Conference tournament, and we'll see you Wednesday at Lamel Family Field for the matchup versus Pfeiffer.
Thank you.
All right, there he goes, Coach L. Danna. And as Coach Danna was able to introduce us to these two student athletes, Luiz Pontes and Justin Labhart. Great to have you both on the show. Luiz, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing, Phil?
Doing good. Justin, great to have you along. How are you, my friend?
Doing just fine. Thanks. How are you?
Outstanding. Well, great to have you both on the show. Luiz, we'll start with you. Coach talked about how, earning that bye in the USA South Conference tournament was a goal all season long. And you all got it done. You're able to, get the necessary wins and earn that bye. Can you talk a little bit about, how that was a goal this season and how important it was for the team to reach that goal?
Well, as Coach L said, one of our goals to be really top on the
All right, we may be having some technical issues here. We'll see if we can effort Luiz and Justin, see if we can get them back in order. Well, folks, just to review, as we've been soccer heavy in this show thus far, the women's soccer team wins the regular season conference championship, a 13-0-2 overall season, undefeated on the year, keeping that unbeaten streak going, a 9-match win streak at the moment, and unbeaten for the entire season. Meanwhile, the men's soccer team earns a bye in the USA South Conference tournament. They'll play in the semifinals next Wednesday, so they'll get directly to work. We will continue to work on Luiz and Justin's connection. Meanwhile, we're going to invite into the show head football coach Bill Khayat as we shift gears yet again here. Coach Khayat, thanks for joining the program.
I appreciate you having me, Phil.
Yeah, appreciate you having you as well. And great to come off a win that we saw this weekend in Montgomery, Alabama. Tornadoes 25, Huntington 21. These two teams go at it every single season, and the Tornadoes able to get that huge road win. Coach, congrats on that. Can you describe, the win, what it took to get the win, and obviously the implications?
Certainly. And I think it definitely deserves a backstory. Since I had an athletic trainer on the field that was new, I had some coaches that it was their first year out on the field, and certainly some players that we had picked up through the transfer portal who at the end of the game said, hey, what's the big deal? We just won a road game in the USA South. So if you don't really know the journey, you don't understand how huge that win was for our program. So for those that don't know, it's that starting with 17 players back in 2017, winning 8 games over the first 2 years, and then really getting that first signature win for the program when we beat Christopher Newport back in 2019, which led to a victory over Division II Allen, and then a homecoming win in 2019 against Maryville, comeback win 10-9 against Averett, and that all crescendoed with the bowl game victory up in Pittsburgh, PA against Carnegie Mellon. So there were these wins over that season that really propelled us into a different level of football. And it took until 2021 when we finally had a true home football field in Lamel Family Field. And I think Coach Lindsay labeled them the gold standard. Huntington, we were finally able to get a victory over Huntington, but it was at home in the friendly confines of that Lamel Family Field, and beat them down pretty good, 27-3. But the one that has always escaped us was being able to play good, sound football in Montgomery. And several times we'd made the trip down there, and each and every time we came back without a victory. And even in our best season in 2021, We had 6 turnovers, lost by only 1 score, but nonetheless did not play well. So when you were looking at this game and the matchup, obviously history would lead you to believe we didn't have a very good chance. Then you look at the previous week, we were coming off a loss that we did not expect at home. So I was really impressed that where these guys started off psychologically during the week, much like how we had to start off following the hurricane, and it was more the mental aspect of it. The approach they took during the week was to ensure that they prepared properly physically. So we did everything we needed to do on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on the field with the helmets and the shoulder pads and the blocking and the tackling and everything that we needed to do physically. And then they prepared themselves with what they put in their body. So the right nutrition, the right rest. I got them sleep. We stayed as much off of their legs as they could. And then the final and most crucial part was the execution on game day. And outside of a 2-minute window at the end of the first half, they did it with almost perfection, which led to that victory and has now allowed us to continue a nice run here in the conference play.
Yeah, and looking back on the game this past Saturday, Coach, Huntington led 21-10 at the half. A scoreless third quarter, and then the Tornadoes come up with 15 points in the fourth quarter for the come-from-behind win. Can you describe, what it took for the Tornadoes to come from behind and to come up with that kind of production in the second half, both sides of the ball?
Right. Well, it really starts with the halftime adjustments. And down 21-10, a lot of that happened in the last 2 minutes of the half. So I just let the players know that, listen, there are 30 minutes in that half. And for 28 of them, we were playing good enough football to win the game. It was a 2-minute window that was a disaster. And we were not going to allow that to bleed into the second half and continue on for the remainder of the game. And I just said, hey, defense, the only thing that we need to do is tackle, because we're hitting, we're making great plays. But one thing we need to do is be able to tackle and not allow any of these guys to get extra yardage after the first hit. And offensively, everything was fine. Just manage the game properly, just not what we did in that last 2 minutes. And they took all of it to heart, and they went out and executed exactly what it was that we were looking for them to do. And I told my receivers during the week that I knew that somehow, some way during this game that there might be an unlikely hero that was going to need to step up. Somebody you might not call a lot on, may not make a lot of statistics or box scores, but someone was going to need to step up in this game. And certainly that did happen. I'm sure you'll get to that soon. And really change things for us in that fourth quarter, allowing us victory.
Well, Chase Pfeiffer and James Woods both collected hardware for their performances in this matchup versus Huntington. For those who might not have watched the game, can you describe why these two in particular were able to, put together a afternoon that warranted, this sort of player of the week honoree from the USA South?
Certainly. And, football is truly a team sport. And I tell our players that all the time, because you never have any idea which of the three phases will be playing well. All three, two of the three, one of the three. Somebody's got to play well and carry the team to victory. And a lot of times it'll be certain players within those phases. So this particular go around, it was a defense that won this game for us. Heck, they scored more points than the offense did in the game. So the first thing you brought up was James Woods. Okay, so what a phenomenal cornerback. So he plays on defense. He's the kind of guy that covers the opponent typically to make sure that the guys on the outside can't catch footballs, but he's also required to tackle at times. And earlier in the drive, the receiver that was playing over him just runs a little 5 yards, catches the ball, gets some extra yards, runs 5 yards, catches the ball, and then gets another 5, 10, 15. So it's almost like Woods was baiting him. Okay, you keep throwing these little passes, throw these little passes. And then sure enough, quarterback rolled out this time, which really cut the field in half. So now the options are limited as to where this receiver can run. And Woods just waited until that arm came back, and then he knew he was committed. And boy, he stepped right in front of that. And I don't know what, 60 yards or so, picked that ball off and was gone down the sideline. And Dorian Smith, who's the quarterback for Huntington, can flat out fly. I know that because he actually trains with one of our former players, Jordy Wilkinson. And anyway, he couldn't catch him down the sideline. So that was a great display of an ability to read a quarterback, know what he was doing, step in front of it, and then a huge, huge momentum swing in the first half for us. Now you want to go to the second half. So now you say Chase Pfeiffer. Okay, so Chase Pfeiffer, the only reason you have not been calling his name all year is he's been battling injuries, has been battling some sickness. So, but he was a transfer from Mount Union and a great football program in Division III for those that don't know. And when he was out on the field, he's going to give you everything he has. On that particular play, the offensive line, who had done a good job for Huntington cutting our players. And what that means is they'll dive at our defensive linemen. So the defensive linemen have to protect their knees, and that keeps their hands down. So their hands can't get up to bat down a pass. And they've done that several times earlier in the game. Well, Chase comes in, super athletic player, takes his right hand and basically stuffs the offensive lineman trying to block him down to the ground. And when they try to float that ball over his head, you know, a lot of these defensive linemen, they play defense for a reason because these things are actually bricks and not hands. And but that thing went right in his hands, was able to make the catch, and heck, 23 yards or so straight down there, and the eventual game winner. And what an incredible moment for all. I mean, just the thrill on the sideline was something that you dream about as a coach, as a player, as anybody associated with a football team.
Outstanding. And just a huge, huge win. Congrats again, that win in Montgomery, Alabama over Huntington. Well, it sets up the Tornadoes for this home stretch in the USA South Conference schedule, and it begins this Saturday versus Methodist Senior Day at Islamel Family Field, a 12 noon start. Would love for you to help preview the Methodist matchup for us, Coach.
So Methodist, we'll start with the leadership, and the leadership is Coach Kevin Williams. He's actually a very good friend of mine. I know him quite well. So it'll be an interesting chess match going on because I know what he wants to do and he knows what I want to do. So I can't do what he knows I want to do, but then he knows that I know that, and I know that he knows that. So now I got to go back to what I originally want to do. So that part will be fun, the things behind the scenes happening. But as far as the preparation, I want to make sure that our players do not fall into the trap of this letdown after such an incredible win, a marquee victory in this program's history. You can't come out flat just looking at an opposing team's record. And these guys have a lot of great athletes. Believe it or not, Methodist is really one of the top teams that we battle with when it comes to recruiting. So there are a lot of players that they've had over the years that we really thought we were going to get, and we have a lot of players over the years that they thought they were going to get. So we recruit a lot of the same type of players. It's just how we groom them and how we lead them once they get within our program. So, you know, the style of play for us offensively, we got to do a lot what we did last week, which was play mistake-free. And that was great. I mean, who would have ever thought Ethan Beamish throws 0 touchdown passes and we win a game? Is because the game was managed properly. And our defense has been getting better and better and better each week. And now, I mean, we're off the charts good. And we just have to continue that trend defensively. And then with the special teams, all we got to do is make sure that we continue with the great plays. We just can't make a great kickoff return and then fumble a kickoff return and then make a great kickoff return and allow a punt to get blocked. So if we can be consistently good with those special teams, things should turn out in our favor on Saturday.
Outstanding. That's Saturday at 12 noon, a senior day ceremony scheduled for around 11:30. So make sure you get to the game early and take part of that. Coach, can you tell us a little bit about this year's senior class, what makes them special, and obviously big contributions all the way through their careers?
Well, it's the leadership. That's what a coach always looks for in a team, is to have what's called a player-led team, meaning that you have enough in the leadership group and they're not leading them down the wrong path. They are actually extensions of the coach or coaches. So for us this year, wow. I mean, what a group. We still are dabbling a little bit into that COVID senior. So we do have some fifth-year guys with the blend of the fourth year. But it's a larger group. We have 20 that we're going to be recognizing, I believe, on Saturday, plus ones that we recognized last year, about 5 or so from last year, because they thought that might have been there last year. So you're looking about 25 guys, which is a large number from where we started. And with that kind of number and the guys really understanding what it is that we want to accomplish, which is a championship in the USA South, they want to do everything they can to ensure that the players that are following them, that they are lead by example type of guys. Nobody really wants to follow somebody that does a whole lot of what we call chirping. They just talk and talk, but they don't ever follow what it is that they're saying other guys should be doing. So it's great to have a lead by example type of leadership group.
All right, Coach. Well, we're going to invite in a couple of the leaders of the Brevard College Tornadoes into the program right now, as Cooper Hogan and Ernest Smith II have joined the conversation. Coach Khayat, tell NATO Nation about these two outstanding student athletes.
Well, again, I can go on and on, so I'll just select a little piece about each so you can learn something about each one of them. All right, so the gentleman on the left in the screen, Cooper Hogan. Okay, so he plays wide receiver. So that's the guy that you probably think of, hey, we're going to throw the ball down the field and somebody's got to catch it. A lot of these guys can be referred to as prima donnas. They like the long towel and the dark visor, and they're all about the fashion and prancing around. And but there's a lot of different elements to being able to play wide receiver. And the most difficult parts of the good playing wide receivers to find are the things that Cooper Hogan does the best. And number one is his toughness. So there is nobody tougher in this unit than this man right here. And we will call on him to get down, gritty, and just have to root somebody out in the run game where he's got to go in there and block big body guys with a whole lot of other bodies flying around him. And he goes in there with no fear. He runs all the underneath routes where somebody's coming to try to take his head off. Again, no fear. And to watch his play, I mean, he's a true grinder. He's a guy that would wear the hard hat into the office and get out there into the field and do what he needs to do. So really impressed by what he does. And he is truly a lead by example guy, because every word that comes out of his mouth that he requests from other people is literally what he does on the field. So I'm so proud to be able to coach him and grateful that he's on our roster. The gentleman on the right, all right, Ernest Smith. Ernest Smith's career started on what was called the look team. Okay. So he was first noticed by us as a staff because he was simulating the opponent's defense. And he would line up on the defensive line. So his hands down on the ground and all the offensive linemen are trying to block him. Nobody's blocking him. So all I would ever say during practice is, who in the heck's got Ernest Smith? Why is he in the backfield? Because every single time he's going against our first line and he's in the backfield making a play. That allows him to get onto the football field with the defense. Nothing changes when he gets out there. And he's the kind of guy that most of the time, 2 guys are blocking him, not 1, 2. There's 5 offensive linemen, typically 4 defensive linemen. That means there's 1 extra offensive lineman to do something. And he's in there getting double teamed, and he's 4th on our team in tackles. So to be able to rack up statistics at all, have 2 tackles for loss in the last game, whatever it was. I mean, how can you rack up these statistics unless you're a remarkable player out on that football field? And that's what he is. And again, love to have him on my squad.
Great stuff, Coach. Well, we can't wait for this weekend's matchup on Senior Day versus Methodist. We'll see you at Islamel Family Field. Thanks for joining Tornado Talk this evening, Coach. Best of luck this week.
Okay, thanks, Phil. Appreciate it.
All right, there he goes, head coach Bill Khayat, and that'll bring us to the aforementioned Cooper Hogan and Ernest Smith. By the way, men's soccer, stick around. We'll have Luiz Pontes and Justin back with us in just a little bit after this interview on the football side of things. Justin Labhart and Luiz Pontes will be on just a little bit here on the show. But first things first here, Cooper Hogan and Ernest Smith II, as Coach Khayat was able to introduce these two. Cooper Hogan, thanks for joining the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great to have you. And Ernest Smith II, great to have you along as well. How are you, Ernest?
Well, I'm doing perfectly fine.
Outstanding. Well, Cooper, let's start with you. What a win this weekend in Montgomery, Alabama. Can you sum up, that Saturday for the Tornadoes and what it meant for you guys?
Oh yeah, I mean, first off, a blessing to have the opportunity to go into Alabama and play Huntington. Safe travels and everything, and it was just awesome Saturday. And defense balled out and gave us a win. They got us one.
Outstanding. Ernest, from the defensive side of things, that was a big performance for you guys, and you got the W. What did it mean to your unit?
It just means like, let me see how I can kind of say it. It was just a blessing just to go out there, just get the W and come back home safely.
Yeah, and Ernest, let's stick with you because one of your fellow defensive linemen, and we talked about it with Coach, ends up with the game-winning pick six, taking it to the house, Chase Pfeiffer. Can you tell us about that play and, how that kind of went down and how big of a play that was for Chase and for the Tornado defense?
Well, the funny thing is I remember before that play on the sideline, he told me, Ernest, I'm going to make sure to try to get like a pick or something during the before the play. I'm like, yeah, you can go ahead and make the play. And soon, and the next thing I noticed, I just seen Chase reach up, literally grab the ball, and just ran 23 yards to the end zone. And I was very hyped for him.
Yeah, I bet I can only imagine the reaction, for the Tornadoes as a whole on that sideline when Pfeiffer took it to the house. Cooper Hogan, would love to talk further about your unit as well, member of that wide receiving core, and it's a interesting core. There's yourself and Zachary Orr, and then there's a bunch of young receivers who are a big part of it. Guys who bring different styles, a lot of targets for your quarterback Ethan Beamish. Can you talk about the unit as a whole and kind of how you guys operate?
Oh yeah, I mean, as we like to say, we're deep. Like we go 7 deep, 8 deep. I mean, there's guys you're not even seeing on the field that they can do it. So we operate through like a strategy style. I mean, for example, me and Reggie will rotate and keep us fresh. I mean, we're there to make the plays that Beam presents us with.
Yeah, outstanding stuff. And tell us a little bit personally, Cooper, how you've been feeling this year and, how the season's been going for you individually.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're in a groove. As I like to say, we like to win. And we had a little saying going into this game, walk in your trap, take over your trap. And so I'm hype about this season, and I think it's going the way we want it to go. And we're going to do it. We're going to get a ring.
Ernest, what's going to be the key from this point forward for you guys reaching those goals that Cooper was just talking about?
It just all starts with practice and how we going to practice the rest of the season.
Yeah, so practice the stuff that the fans don't see, that we don't live stream, that you guys the hard work that was talked about earlier in the show as well. How that's such a big difference maker. Well, speaking of interceptions, I want to bring up Ernest's first career interception. Whenever a D lineman intercepts the ball, the crowd goes absolutely nuts. It's such a great moment. But you got it done in that big win over Southern Virginia. Ernest, get as detailed as you can. Tell us exactly what that moment was like. What was the play? What went down, and how did it feel for you?
Well, it just all started with Dorsey. He was coming off the edge, and I just remember just seeing him tip up the ball, and I was just looking up in the air, and I was just seeing the ball coming down. I just jumped up and just caught it, and I was just trying to take off, but I got tripped up. So yeah.
Yeah, great stuff. Well done, and it's kind of a people look at it as a real bonus, but there's some skill involved in that too. And I know it's something you guys practice as far as all those tip drills and that kind of thing. So awesome stuff to have you come down with the interception. Now, speaking of highlight plays on the season, a 64-yard touchdown reception for Cooper in that big win over Greensboro. That got the scoring started that day. Big time reception for the taking it all the way to the house. Cooper, take us through that play.
I mean, so we run a little mesh concept in this man, and I know they had 2 on Orr. They're playing a cloud over Orr because Orr's had heck of 2 or 3 weeks before that. They're playing Cloud over Ore, and I run the mesh concept, which is a deep curl, and nobody's on me. And Beam threw me the ball, and I was like, all I was thinking about is last year I got hawked on the 1 yard line against them, and I was just like, can't get caught, and ended up in the end zone. It was an awesome play.
Yeah, 64-yarder to the house versus Greensboro. Great stuff. Well, senior day's on Saturday. Cooper, have you kind of wrapped your head around that idea that it's going to be senior day Saturday? Have you thought about, the significance?
Yeah, it's came up very quick. I mean, you think about it, a couple days ago, it feels like you were walking on the campus for the first time. You were at practice for the first time. It gets up on you quick. You got to enjoy it.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Ernest, you got any thoughts about senior day coming up on Saturday?
Well, actually, this would be my second senior day because I had a senior day last year, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a great celebration of you guys, and can't wait to see what's after senior day, which is the action versus Methodist as well. Before we let you go, Cooper, tell us what the degree is going to be in. What your future plans after Brevard College look like.
Yeah, so I'm getting my degree. I'm a business major, so I'm gonna have a business degree and do some type of sales and become an entrepreneur. I want to own my own company one day, and do it that way.
Awesome stuff. Best of luck with that. And Ernest, tell us about the degree for yourself and some of your future plans.
Right now, my degree is criminal justice. I'm just looking forward to after school, probably going to law.
Very good. Well, congrats both of you guys on just outstanding careers as student athletes here at Brevard College. It's been such a joy watching you play and getting to know you off the field as well. Before we let you go, you know the drill. We've got shout outs here on Tornado Talk. Cooper, you have any for us?
Yeah, I just want to thank God for giving me the opportunity to be here. Thank God for giving me the opportunity to play football, and shout out all my receivers out there. You know what we do.
Ernest Smith II, opportunity for you for any shout outs, people who might be tuning in, down in South Carolina or anywhere for that matter.
I just want to thank God and just thank all my family and friends and teammates.
Very good. Cooper, Hogan, Ernest Smith II, such big parts of this Brevard College football program. We'll see you on Saturday for senior day and for that matchup versus Methodist. Thanks for joining the show, gentlemen.
Appreciate you, Phil.
Appreciate it.
All right, there they go. And we're going to invite back in and appreciate their patience making this work. Justin Labhart and Luiz Pontes, take two, as they say in Hollywood. Great to have you both with us. Thanks for sticking around. I really want to, be able to spend some time with you guys and let the audience get to know you better. Justin, we were talking about the season so far, and how, the success to this point has, been able to allow the Tornadoes to reach some of their goals. Can you sum up, where the team is at this point of the season and how you guys are feeling?
Well, we got to appreciate that most of the guys are healthy. And as Coach L said previously, we got a huge squad and big quality in the squad. Like we were able to do subs to not lose too much quality. And that's a huge thing that deep into the season. So we're definitely ready for our last regular season game and then everything that follows.
Yeah, last regular season game on Wednesday versus Pfeiffer, and then, getting ready for the tournament. Luiz Pontes with us as well, the graduate forward from Brazil. Luiz, tell us a little bit about, your journey and how you found Brevard College, your soccer or football journey, and eventually making your way to Brevard College. What tell us about how you found your way here.
Obviously, I'm from Brazil and started to play when I was a kid. And to have a shortcut, I found out a way to come to US. So I didn't know English even. So I came to a junior college in Iowa. So we made a good things out there. We won a regular season, and then afterwards, the guys won the national championship. After I left, so I went to a NIU school in Indiana, finished my degree there, exercise science, and then I knew one of big friends here. He was here in Brevard, so he was just talking to me. Oh, you should come to Brevard, finish like your collegiate career, and then also do your master's here. So I kind of ended up. So shout out to Carlos, and then also I was talking with the guys, Coach Al, Coach Mario. So kind of having a shortcut, like I ended up in Beverly like that.
Outstanding. And a couple follow-up questions, Luis. How old were you when you started playing? Just how young were you?
I would say between 6 to 7. I was starting to play futsal. Even you can see the way that I play. I was like stepping on the ball. I played futsal a few years, and then also I ended up like playing clubs in Brazil. And then when I was kind of like giving up on soccer, just having like a normal life, found that I could play and then also study and get my degree here in US. So yeah.
Very nice. And tell us how you've enjoyed being here at Brevard College. It's a unique situation being here in the mountains of North Carolina, yet you have so many of your Brazilian, brothers here with you.
Yeah, so far so good. I would say one of the best cities that I live in US. Of course, the weather helps a lot. Feels like home, and then also like some of the Brazilians here, they made a few home. So I kind of ended up coming on the summer to spend a few months before I actually started like classes and also preseason and season. So I made familiar like even before. So I felt really home here.
Outstanding. Also with us, Justin Labhart, freshman from St. Gallen, Switzerland. So we've got one continent covered with Brazil, and now here we go to Europe and Switzerland. Same question for you, Justin. Tell us about your soccer journey. When did you start playing, and then how did it go from there?
Well, same as Luis, started out as a kid, really young. Like, don't even know how old I was. Like, always played soccer, going out, just spend time on the field practicing. And yeah, as Luis, as I more saw soccer as a hobby, like doing it aside while working at home, I saw the opportunity to come here, got contacted by Coach L, and yeah, I took the chance to play some competitive college soccer and haven't regretted it so far.
Outstanding. Tell us a little bit about Switzerland and what the environment there is for soccer. I know that the sport is huge over there in Europe, and the Swiss national team has had a lot of success in the World Cup the last few years and that kind of thing. Tell us a little bit about what it's like back home as far as the love of the sport there.
Yeah, the love of the game is absolutely crazy. Like we kind of had somewhat of a golden generation the last couple of years. The fans, like the whole country, like just loved watching the guys playing for the national team, but also on clubs levels. FC Basel, Young Boys, some soccer guys will know those clubs. They had some pretty great success for a small Swiss country in the Europe League, Champions League, and yeah, I mean everyone plays soccer back in Switzerland. Just it's sports number one by far.
Yeah, number one sport in Switzerland, and definitely the number one sport in Brazil as well. Luis, tell us a little bit just how enormous soccer, football is in Brazil. I mean, it's everywhere, and it's such a big part of the culture there. Correct?
Basically, like before you're born and raised, you have a soccer ball near to you, but it's just one of big of passion that we have, and we actually like ended up as a kid just having like a soccer ball around us, and then it's just like so easy that we can play. Just need the friends and a ball, and then somewhere to play. So it's one of biggest passions that we have.
Very good. Back to the Tornadoes in the businesses at hand. We've got the matchup versus Pfeiffer on Wednesday, and then the tournament will begin. Luis, what is going to be the key for the Tornadoes to have success? For the rest of the season and through the tournament.
Well, doesn't matter if we win or lose, but we have the mentality to finish strong the regular season. Obviously, I didn't play the last game, so we want to show up and then actually finish strong the regular season, and then also like focusing on the playoffs, semifinals, and finals, and get back the ring, and then continue like to make history over here.
Justin, anything to add to that as far as the team's mentality, down these last few games coming up?
Well, yeah, basically I'm convinced that the only team that can beat us is ourselves. We got such a deep quality in the squad, good chemistry, and if we are able to show up on game day like we did many times this year, I don't think anyone can stop us.
Yeah, no doubt. Certainly can't wait to see you all back in action on Wednesday versus Pfeiffer, and then the start of the tournament. Congrats on earning that bye and on the season so far, but I know there's still a lot to come as well as far as excitement for the Brevard College Tornadoes. Well, before we let you go, I want to give you each the opportunity to give a shout out, to say thank you, to say hello to anybody perhaps back home. Luiz, we'll start with you, and I'll give you each the chance. You can say it in English first, and then you can take some time in your native tongue as well after that. So, Luiz, you're first up. You got any shout outs or thank yous for us?
I want to say just thank God first. He made everything like around here, and then also made me to come here, have a good environment. But I want to shout out to my family back in Brazil. Saudades família. Also shout out to Salam Aleikum house, my roommates, and then every Brazilian around here. And nice.
Very good. Appreciate that. Do you want to say a few words in Portuguese as well to the people who are tuning in back home?
I can say, só tô com saudades, abraço para todos e é isso. Obrigado, família. Amo vocês.
Very good. And Justin, same opportunity for you. Any thank you, shout outs, people you might want to say hello to, and feel free to, use whatever language they may understand best.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it short in English. It's just like thanks to my family, my friends back home, the extreme support I get. Absolutely love all of them. Also to my teammates, to my position mate, Luiz. And then a quick one in Swiss German. Danke vielmals, Familie. Extrem dankbar, die Chance, die ich bekommen habe. Ich habe mega Freude, zum dort zu sein und habe euch ganz, ganz fest gern.
All right. Justin Labhart, Luiz Pontes. Hey, great job this evening. Thanks for enduring the technical issues. We're glad we were able to get the interview in, and it's been great to get to know you better. We'll see you Wednesday at Islamel Family Field versus Pfeiffer. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you so much. Vamos, Brevard.
Very good. And can't wait to see you guys in action, and can't wait to see you, NATO Nation, at a future Brevard College Tornado athletic event. Hey, big congratulations to the women's soccer team, regular season champions in the USA South. And thank you to those guests from women's soccer, men's soccer, and football who joined us this evening. Big thanks to those who helped behind the scenes, Sports Information Director Joseph Marvin, our producer this evening, Tony Belcher, and production assistants helping us behind the scenes as well from Cassidy Hutto and Emily Denega. Thanks again for joining the show. Till next time, go Tornadoes.